All right, the mics are on. Glasses are full.
Yeah.
Can is
Cans are
full.
full. Get that
Okay.
cool descent koozie. That's
Let's see,
good.
let's see if you can get the sound effect on this.
Oh, that was
Oh yeah.
beautiful.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. This thing picks up tons of sound. Like I had to actually tell my daughter's watching Simpsons downstairs. I had to tell her to turn it down because this will pick it up. But
That's why I got this headset, because it's like the sound quality is really. I look like a 1980s phone operator, but like
nice.
the sound is good.
You totally do. It's a good look.
I know.
Well, this is the Craft Beer Ballers Quarantine Edition. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I have to tell you. Well, first let me introduce our guests.
Yes.
We have Jordan Perkins, friend of the show. He does the Traveler's Beer Log. He has traveled throughout the country, drinking good beer, talking about good beer. Now he's at home drinking good beer.
Yeah, not traveling lately. No.
No travel. Travel is
the non-traveler beer log.
I might need to change the handle for a while. Yeah,
I know. Stay at home beer log. Yeah.
There you go.
I still have been drinking good beer though. Yeah, happy to be here. Happy to be here for sure.
That's wonderful. That's
well,
wonderful.
what's in that can?
So first off, last time I did like 30 shout outs when I met with y'all. But so shout out Well Designed Wood. This is the koozie he made me. Solid wood, super dope.
And so you got the dentures for the fingers too.
I know, isn't that cool? Yeah,
it
fits perfectly. Like it is.
Cool.
Yeah, it is. You got to check him out.
How well does it keep it cold?
Dude, I've had this out for a while, since before I hopped on the call.
Okay.
And I mean, you can still see the cool drips on there a little bit. Yeah. But so this is Royal Blood. This is from Three Nations out in Farmers Branch, Texas. This is their Blood Orange Wit. It is absolutely delicious, and it's super hot here. So I was like, this is definitely what I want to drink first. I have a couple other beers, if the episode goes into that length, that I'll open up to. But that is
like a challenge.
I'm just saying. I mean, I know you're down there in your bar. So you probably have all the options right now, right in front of you.
I'm low on inventory, but I got a few left.
You better stock up. That's the name of the game right now.
You know what the problem is I go highly unbalanced. Sometimes I'll have like nothing but hops, and then I'll have nothing but heavies. And so right now I'm kind of in between. I got my Cycle Brewing out of Pinellas County. Cream and sugar glaze. It's a lactose light coffee stout with lactose and a little bit of sugar added.
Solid choice.
I like
Solid choice, sir. Well, all right. So I got to start with a story. All right. So I went and played basketball with my nephew. He lives next door. Just like an hour ago. I don't play basketball very often anymore. And he is an athlete, not a particularly great athlete, but he's an athlete. He's an emerging athlete. Right. He's he's done really well. I've given him a lot of crap. He actually is doing well. He's working out. He's in the gym, whatever. All right. So I held my own. He, of course, won. He's 16. He won. I am so tired and so thirsty. So thankfully, the one beer that I have in the fridge is Pink Lava Funk by Prairie Ales. I'm not normally like a sour drinker, but it's been in the fridge for a few days. The glass has been in the fridge all day.
There you go.
So good. This is like giving me life right now. It's like
disappearing fast
Gatorade.
too. I can see.
Yeah, that's
disappearing fast.
You got a little bit about that left.
Yeah, I got like a shot of beer left. Yeah. Oh my God, it is so good. Like I said, I'm just not usually my jam, but like man, like the natural guava flavors, just a natural sour flavor to it, but fruity. It's actually like, it's not strong. It's like 6.3, but it tastes like it's like 4.5. like literally, I'm just downing it. Like
just crushing it.
I'm crushing this right now.
You're basically replacing body fluids with sour beer. So
I would do
pretty
that.
much. I don't know about the wisdom of that, but it's whatever. So Jordan, what are you drinking now? Did I catch that? What are you drinking?
Yeah. So Blood Orange
IPA sounds like.
Yeah. Blood Orange Wit from Three Nations.
Okay. Yes.
A wit. That's a wit.
Yeah. So super light, crisp. Like really, like the Blood Orange is pretty much the star here. Like front to back, it's throughout. which is what I love. And I love folks who use like blood orange and orange in their beers. If they do it right, it's really, really clean. And I love the folks at Three Nations. They are fantastic. And I picked this up. This was one of my last trips I made actually before the quarantine took its full effect. I was out in Dallas and I made a couple of friends at the brewery, and so I went and drank and got to bring some stuff home on the flight, and it made it. So this is a result. I'm pretty stoked about it.
Nice, very
out in
cool.
Cali, there's a Lost Coast has their tangerine wheat, which I know they
Dude,
push out a
so
lot.
I've been to Lost Coast. If you ever get the chance, it's really cool. It's up there in Eureka, cool little like kind of beachy town, super small. You'll see a lot of Lost Coast up there, and another one you'll see up there. Oh shoot, what is it? I totally forgot the name of it now. I'll have to. Oh, the Booth Brewing. I don't know if you've ever seen any of their stuff. It's usually like in the guy
Booth?
the Booth, yeah, like a phone booth, but like the Booth.
So like if John Wilkes Booth was a rapper.
Boom, like the Booth.
The Booth.
But like not with the DA. His would be like the Booth. This is like
gotcha.
the Booth. Yeah.
All right.
And he's the guy who founded it, started it in Seoul, South Korea. And so like all of his like imagery and like the labels are like that influenced.
Oh, wow.
It's really weird looking, but the beers are phenomenal. You'll see a lot of that too if you go up near.
All right. Well, Johnny, whenever we make a Northern California trip,
we need to make a trip. Actually,
you need to tell me when you do, and then we'll all go. We'll all go.
Man, straight.
Hell yeah, dude, for sure.
We'll find Guy Fieri. We'll get in the Camaro and we'll roll up the coast.
Heck
We'll
yeah,
do
dude,
like
it's like a dream.
diners, drive-ins, and dives.
That would be phenomenal.
We gotta add breweries to that show.
For real.
Yeah, I know.
Haven't they done that?
They need a show that does that. I think there's been some attempts at kind of doing that type of show, but it just nothing's really taken. Really,
you need I think you need the right guy, and
I think Guy really makes that show as good as it is.
Oh gosh, he's fantastic. He actually so you had a story, Johnny. I have a story. So for work, I was in Vegas, and I was with a coworker of mine. We went to our Vegas office, and we had just flown in that morning, and we had like a really long meeting. It was like 5 hours. And so we leave, we're about to go to the hotel, and we see like the office kind of like all scrambling around. And we were like, oh, what's going on? And one of the admins comes in, and she's like, oh, Guy Fieri and Sammy Hagar are in the office. And I was like, what? Why? And then I remembered they were coming out with a liquor brand together. They were doing something called a mezquila.
Oh, okay.
Which is a combination of mezcal, which is one of my favorite spirits, and tequila. And the coworker I was with, she's like a tequila savant. Like she's like a actual like professional. She knows her tequila, and she looked at me and she goes, that's going to be disgusting. And I was like, yeah, I can't imagine that being very good. And she's like, you want to go meet him? And I said no. I was like, no, I was so tired. We had just flown in, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, gosh, it would have been cool to meet Guy. Sammy, I don't really know anything. I think he's a little bit like before my time, but Guy, I heard Guy sometimes can be pretty cool.
I would have had to have gotten a selfie with Guy if he'd let me.
Right?
Just so I could send to the wife.
And I figured they were like going to be all business, when they were in the office. So I didn't want to like go in there and be like, oh, hey, what's up, Guy? But that would have been my shot, and I blew it. So,
you know what? You show up with a cold 6-pack.
Maybe some like a really like.
I bet they might invite you to sit down. Hey, you want to be a partner in this or whatever?
They'd be like, hey, you want in on this with that beer? Yeah, maybe. We'll never know. We'll never know.
Beer's a great connector.
It is.
Everybody speaks the language of beer.
It is. Yeah.
Man, but yeah. So, well, first of all, well, happy birthday, Jordan.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Wow.
Yeah. It was my birthday on Sunday. Yeah.
Oh man, it's cool. It's cool. So, wait, you say you're what, 27?
27.
So young. So young, Jordan.
And I wasn't lying. Like, I'm 27, but I feel like I'm 83. Like body-wise.
How many kids?
2 now, 1 on the way. So our third is due in July.
You are 83.
Dude, yeah. I mean, couple that with 3 knee surgeries and a shoulder surgery, and I'm up there in physical years. Yeah, mentally I'm sharp though.
That's good though. Well, that's the key. You can lose your body, don't lose your mind.
I think beer helps with the mind deal. I think it really does. Yeah.
Are those sports injuries?
Oh yeah. I had my first knee surgery when I was 16, and then I had 2 more in college, and then my last year in college I also had a shoulder surgery. I tore labrum and part of my bicep.
Is that baseball?
All football.
All football
related. Yeah, I kept tearing my meniscus in the same knee. So, But I mean, it paid for school. So
what school did you go to?
Northwestern.
Nice.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, it's Big Ten, man.
Big Ten, yeah. It's funny. Like I usually will say that, and like a certain number of people know like that's Big Ten, and other ones would be like, oh, like where is that? And I'm like, oh, so I have to explain it. But yeah, they're like, where is that? Like in the Pacific Northwest? No.
Like people say they never heard Northwest. That's ridiculous. That's actually
that's nonsense.
I think they get thrown off when I say I played football there, because they might not think of it initially as like a football school. Like if I just said I went to school at Northwestern, that would be like completely different. But like when I was there, we had a really good run, like football wise, and we had some good bowl years. And
did you play for Pat?
Oh yeah, Fitz was there.
I was about to say, yeah, because I was just about to ask the same question.
He's as advertised, like players coach, like really gets his hands in, wants to develop. And I remember his tagline, which is kind of like what made me choose that school, was they're preparing for more than football. Like they're trying to stack on and build the blocks for like after, right? Like they want to make sure you get a job, support your family.
If you go to Michigan State, hey, that's great and all, but if you tell people, yeah, I went to Northwestern, you only tell me you played football. You could say I went to Northwestern. That's enough.
And that was what I was looking for in schools. So I'm just thankful I got the one I wanted and left it with zero college debt, which is always great.
Oh, nice.
Well, just all the physical ailments, apparently.
Honestly, that makes it worth. Like the scholarship made it worth it. Like would I have walked on somewhere? Probably not, because I wasn't built for football. Like I'm not a very big. I was like 30 pounds heavier when I was playing, but at the same time, injury bug was with me the whole.
Tailback, DB.
Running back for the first 2 years, and then receiver for the last 2.
Oh wow!
Okay. So, but I played with some guys who went on to the league, which is really, some are still in the league, which is really cool to see. They're doing well. I'm trying to think of like ones I like. A couple guys on the Packers. Dean Lowry plays nose for them on defense, and Dan Vitale's our fullback, and Trevor Simeon was a quarterback for the Broncos for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Austin Carr's receiver for the Saints.
Yep.
So
I'm familiar.
So, and then
that's cool.
Guy who replaced Melvin Gordon on the Chargers, Justin Jackson.
Austin Eckler.
He was there. Didn't go to school with him, but he's a monster. But Justin filled in too, and he did a phenomenal job. So yeah, it's cool to see guys doing really well and still repping the old purple.
Who's the best player you ever went against?
Oh,
either side of the field, or the best guy you watched on the field, the best guy you're like, damn, I gotta watch this guy's.
Melvin
awesome.
Gordon was ridiculous.
Okay,
like he single-handedly almost beat us. Who else? Braxton Miller was there when I was there.
Okay.
So I had to guard Micah Hyde on punt. So like he, they were punting and I was supposed to be blocking him on punt return, and he's probably the fastest human being I've ever seen. Like standing next to me. Yeah. Like as soon as he took off, I remember he took off it was like in the first quarter, and I came back to the sideline and I told Fitz, I was like, Coach, I don't know. Like that dude's fast. Like you might have to put someone else on him or we might have to double him because that dude is quick. So he was.
Were you like a gunner?
Yeah. So I was a gunner on punt, and then on punt return, I was like blocking the gunner.
Right. Okay.
And so
that makes sense. Yeah. Because your return will get crushed if the timing's off. If he can get past you. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think those were like the biggest guys. And there were a bunch of other dudes who were like really solid, like college players that just, kind of didn't play afterwards, but they called it the Big Ten for a reason. Those dudes.
How about most intimidating stadium?
I feel like Michigan has to be thrown in there.
Okay. Big house.
Because it was huge. Honestly, the most fun I had at a visiting stadium, there's 2 of them. Wisconsin's is cool because they do their jump in the fourth quarter. Yeah, and if it's a full house, they jump around, and you'll see kind of like the pillars kind of moving a little. Like it was pretty crazy to watch. And then the other one was Iowa, only because
it's so close. They're like right on top of you,
dude. Yeah, and they could grab you if they wanted to from the sideline. Like that's how close they are. And I remember we drove into the stadium, and there was like little old ladies like flipping us off, and like they were just, they loved their football. And so that was a fun, it's funny to say, but it was a fun hostile environment to play in because you're right in it and it feels so close.
Well, I mean, you're right. They are so close that they could be not even saying derogatory things. They could be just having standard conversation. You like hear it.
They don't even really need to yell. Honestly, I mean, like if you're up against the wall, like you're right there. You're right there for them.
Wow, jeez,
So
that's
that
crazy.
was a fun one. That was a fun one.
That's crazy. I admittedly I have not been to like a true Big Ten game. I used to cover, so I used to cover college football. I used to cover Georgia Tech actually. Tech had a couple of games here and there, and they had and oh god, who did they have in a bowl game when I covered them? Whoever it is, they beat them. Might have been Iowa actually. So like stuff like that. But I've always wanted to like go like that's like a next kind of like football bucket listing when you could actually like go to stuff and be in crowds again. Is like see Big Ten because I've seen some SEC, I've seen a lot of ACC, and we're huge USF fans, so we've seen USF, but we've also seen USF play other like we've seen them play Wisconsin actually. Stuff like that. But like, man, I really, and not necessarily like a Michigan Ohio State game. I would love to see like a Wisconsin Iowa game, like something true Midwest.
Yeah, like blue collar football game. Yeah, I gotta say, man, like Iowa always has like super solid dudes on their team, like fundamentally, like, and you just
they're
look
all about strength. They take the strength program like insanely serious.
Gosh, I think it was either Iowa or Wisconsin. I think it was Wisconsin. But I remember when I was on the field, and I kind of looked up, and I was like, these dudes are huge. Like, there's no way, you know. And it's funny how you see that difference. Like, I remember going like when I was back in visiting schools in high school, and I was looking at Pac-12 schools, it was totally different. Like, they were leaner. It was a faster league. Like, those are real tangible things that like people always like say like, oh, well, this is that. It really is. I mean, you'll still get freaky fast dudes in the Big Ten and the SEC, obviously, but those divisions are known for beef. Like, they're huge dudes. So it was fun to see. I don't think we played against like, I'm trying to think if we ever played against anyone in the SEC. Oh, we played Mississippi State in a bowl game. We did play. That was back when Dak Prescott was on the team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
was that down here? Was that the Outback?
That was in the Gator Bowl.
Gator Bowl. Okay, Jacksonville.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Gator Bowl. So we beat them then. That was our first bowl win in like 60 years, which was crazy. And then we played A&M my freshman year in the Meineke Car Care Bowl, which was in Houston, which was really fun. We played in the Texan Stadium, which was awesome. And that was back when Manziel was on the team, but he wasn't like playing. I think it was like the year before he like blew up. He didn't.
Okay. Yeah, because I was about to ask that. Yeah.
So we did play.
Some pre-drinking days for
maybe
because he was underage.
Maybe. I mean, he could have still been doing it, but it wasn't publicized.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't publicized.
He might have been doing it.
He denied those drinking allegations.
Yeah.
Right. So, well, hey, switching gears to beer. Tell me, okay, so how's the vibe with breweries out in your part of the country?
You know what's cool, man? I went to Sacramento on my birthday to pick up some to-go beers from a couple of spots I've been wanting to grab it from, and they're open. Like, I haven't really seen. There's actually one brewery out in Alameda that had to close. That's the only one I've heard of so far. And they're saying they're closing for now. So like I think with the hopes that they may open back up. Other than that, it's still been really cool to see how breweries have adapted to everything, right? Like switching to go orders. States kind of holding back on some of like the restrictions that breweries and other businesses can do with their alcohol. And the second part to that is seeing like the community rally around local spots. I mean, not just breweries, but restaurants and small mom and pop grocery stores. Like the community is there, which is always really cool to see. Super reassuring, kind of like restores your faith in humanity kind of a thing. And yeah, it's almost, I don't want to say it's business as usual, because it's definitely not, but people are still going, like they're still supporting, they're still picking up their beer. And when I went to both breweries, there was a line. So, I mean, people were going out on a Sunday and buying beer. So I'm hoping.
What kind of products moving? Do you think it's like, we're talking like pre-canned beer? Or we're talking crowlers?
Everything. For us, we can do everything. So they have pre-canned beer. I'm seeing a lot of breweries can beer they normally wouldn't can.
Right.
because they want to just get their
Yeah, they want to sell the liquid and they can't. And
right. But you can still do crowlers. Like I grabbed a crowler at Porchlight. So shout out Porchlight. I grabbed a crowler from there, crushed it on my birthday. It was delicious. And I grabbed a 4-pack from them as well. And then I grabbed a 500 ml bottle and a 4-pack from Urban Roots. But yeah, they're doing everything. And that's the great thing too, is like they're still offering the same variety. You just can't sit down and drink it, which sucks, but at least you can still go pick it up.
Well, especially your birthday.
I told my wife, I was like, it was funny. People were like, oh, it sucks, man. You have like your birthday's in quarantine. I'm like, honestly, I would have done the same thing if I wasn't quarantined. I would have went and got beer. The only difference is I would have stayed and drank it versus like bringing it back and drink it. Like that would be the only difference.
So, or there could have been like a surprise party with Sammy Hagar and Guy Fieri.
I mean, I would not have been mad at that either. How them two would have like figured out it was my birthday, I don't know, but that would be sweet.
Yeah. So I emailed him, let him know. They saw it on Facebook. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, like I know you guys are busy, but my buddy Jordan's having a birthday. Like, swing by real quick and
we're trying to do this thing, like
a surprise concert / dinner tasting with Guy.
Yeah.
I would have loved that actually.
Grill out a little bit. It actually sounds kind of like an awesome birthday.
Yeah.
That's like an epic, that's like a milestone birthday. Like, geez.
That would have been in the top. I've had a lot of good birthdays. That would have been in the top 2. If that, probably. Yeah.
High praise.
Yeah.
Man, so that, like I said, definitely wanted to wish you a happy birthday. It sounds like things are pretty similar to how it is here. Down in Florida, I mean, most breweries, I don't know. Gavin, you can back me up on it. I don't know if there's a brewery that's closed. I think they're all open and they're all doing to go.
I haven't heard anyone who's permanently closed, but then again, I haven't really been like hardcore, like digging into it. I know because I pass TBC anytime I leave the house that they're open and they're doing predominantly takeout. And we've heard stories from other people talking about 610 and all these other places that are pretty well established. I would have to think that they're still trying to move some percentage of their normal liquid base to their local audience. So I gotta think that everyone is probably pushing, I don't know, maybe a third of what they would normally.
Yeah.
So I can't believe that you could keep closed and it's actually worth it for you.
Right.
Yeah. And we've had some other people say that they were kind of wondering, are they pushing a lot of liquid as much as they would be pushing if they were actually open or whatever? Because I guess they are pushing a lot to go. Some places are pushing a lot to go liquid. That seems a little far-fetched. I just can't see it being quite the same because I think some of it, so much of going to a brewery is the time at the brewery, the experience. Yeah. And even if you're not quite as into beer, you're into the experience, especially if you're like a beer drinker that's not like a super into it or whatever. Like you're just typical, like, okay, what do you have? What do you know? Or I like IPAs and I only like IPAs.
Give me whatever IPA you have.
Yeah. You're not very selective. So I feel like you lose that audience because that audience, if they're still drinking beer, they're just gonna go to, for us, Publix, or Total Wine Experience, maybe. Whereas I think the people who go now, which is a smaller percentage, are people who are super into beer. And so they're still super selective and they're willing to make a trip. Because it's a little bit, we have a lot of breweries, but they're here, there, and everywhere. Yes. So unless you happen to live right by a brewery, like I live relatively close to a brewery. I think Kevin lives relatively close to a brewery, but a lot of people don't really live all that close to a brewery.
I mean, it was a 40-minute drive for me to go to the breweries on Sunday to Sacramento. So I mean, and that's not close in my opinion.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I fully agree.
There's nothing north of the city that's closer to you.
There's a brewery in Galt that I really love. But when I went, they weren't open. And so I was like, I can't grab from there. And there are breweries like here in town, that are there. So shout out Idle and Five Window. But I feel like I've bought beer from them, and half my reasoning was I wanted to still support breweries. Like someone was like, why don't you just go to the store and grab beer? And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to go to the brewery and pay them my money. to get the beer. Like I don't want to give it to a grocery store. You know, while I love grocery stores and think they need to be open, they get enough business right now. Like they're the only things that are open pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went the 40 minutes, 100%. I would do it again. But like you said, it's not close. I mean, it's worth it though. I would drive many miles for beer.
Oh yeah, for
it was good
sure.
enough.
Hell yeah!
I would go 500.
Like
yes, the Proclaimers. I would definitely live true to that song and go 500 miles for beer.
I would. For sure. I am actually giving some thought to this weekend. Okay, so all right, so I live in Tampa area. I live actually right in Tampa proper, down in the southern part of Tampa. I'm thinking of actually about driving down to Calusa, which is in Sarasota, which is about an hour from here.
I think we have a Sarasota office for work. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm giving some thought to going to Calusa just because I really haven't gone very many places since the quarantine. And so I'm just like, man, you know what? Like, what's to stop me from just driving to Sarasota, driving to Calusa, picking up a 4-pack, and then just head back. And it's at least I would have gotten out of the house for a little bit. Like,
that's the thing lately
plan.
is, yeah. I mean, if you need to get out of the house, like go to a brewery. Like that's what I've been trying to tell folks, like who ask me, you know, like, oh, what have you been doing? Like, you're not traveling. Like, I'm still getting beer. Like, I'm still getting out. I'm still trying to like, A, not go insane by staying in my house 24/7. But B, like the agenda now is almost more important, to which like breweries need the support. Like all these local places need the support. Like we have, no, dude, no. What do you mean? No.
Future beer drinker right there.
all right.
I'm on the computer.
Well, you saw my daughter came in and was looking for.
I did see her kind of like peer around a little bit. He's I don't know
she
why
was
he's
looking for something. She was in here before I was in here, so she was looking for something.
I mean, technically you're in her space, so I mean, she's like, this is my space, Dad. I'm gonna need you to move real quick.
Very, very much so. Like like she's like, well, what are you doing? Did you move it? Like she really was like
she's like, Dad, you and your beer thing in here, like messing with my stuff.
God, your dumb beer thing. Jeez.
Yeah, my son says that all the time. Anyways, so I feel you on that.
Wait, Johnny, we got to plan it, because I think if we did like a whole route and make Calusa part of it, I think the idea would be let's see if we can get room temperature beer, and we'll just get like a cooler or something in there and just kind of make like maybe 2 or 3 stops.
Yeah,
and just kind of like hit it and come back, probably the same route. That would make sense, because then you're not just going to Calusa just to go to Calusa.
Yeah, well, I would think about maybe Corporate Ladder too.
Okay. Yeah, they got some good stuff.
Yeah, they have good stuff, and they're down that way. They're like, they're not Bradenton. I think they're like Lakewood or something like that.
So like, I think we just need to look at the map and then come up with a route and say, you know, how can we get the whole thing done in like 3 hours?
Yeah, Let's seriously talk about it, because I've literally, it's been something that's been kind of rattling around my head for like a week or two now. I'm like, God, when would just stop me from just, I have the time.
We're getting things
the
done.
brewery not being open.
Exactly. Plan it, making moves.
We're doing it. You're doing it.
Man,
it'd be like Wally World. It's like vacation. We get there and they're closed. Sorry, folks, the brewery's closed.
Oh. Well, it would make it a little bit better if he actually did it in that voice, like if someone told you that, like when you got there. Like, that would be heartbreaking.
I know. I'd be like, are you serious? Yeah, I think I would call beforehand or send an email. But I know they have been. Well, Calusa, I'm pretty certain has been open. A lot of people are actually blowing up Corporate Ladder. Like a lot of are like posting stuff. They're like, I guess they're actively producing like a lot of new stuff, and so.
Well, I think that's a saving grace too right now, is social media is keeping a lot of folks afloat with, as far as spreading the word, and also just like encouraging that local growth and support. I mean, daily I'm seeing just like dozens and dozens of posts about like local spots and hey, we're still open, like letting people know, because they know that right now everyone's home, like they're going to be scrolling social media. Like you might as well promote yourself as much as you can and let people know, hey, please still come by, we are open. Which is, it's brilliant. And that's how I found out about a lot of the beers I've been picking up, because I'm like, oh dang, so and so still open, like awesome, I'm gonna go grab some beer. So that's been incredible to still have that power. This day and age, someone mentioned to me the other day, they're like, gosh, imagine if this happened to us like 15 years ago. And, we didn't have
smartphones.
We didn't have the technology we have now to still work and have Zoom and do web calls.
No smartphones. No.
You can't check who's open and who's not without booting up the old dial-up. And
we have to go get like a folding map and like have like our X's and places.
Oh gosh, you lost me. You lost me at folding map. There's no way. I don't know how people did it.
Oh my God.
They were really, really thirsty.
Yeah.
I would have to be very like dang near death if I had to open up a map and figure my way to a brewery.
Oh man.
Just imagine you're 15 and say someone says there's pussy at the end of this map. You're like, all right, give me that map.
So you're like,
we're gonna figure this out, damn it.
So you're like, okay, so which way's north?
Yeah, like I said.
That way.
Compass.
Where's the sun right now? Where is it? Right.
So you need the right motivation.
At 15 I wasn't drinking beer. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But you would have.
It's funny. When I had my first drink, it was like 2 months before my 21st birthday. And I was at a buddy's, I was at my buddy's house. I was back home for spring break, and we were in his garage, and he was like, just have a beer. And I was like, okay. And he gives me like the quintessential first drinking beer, which was Bud Light.
Yeah.
And the story that all my friends still give me so much about was I drank some of the Bud Light, and I couldn't. It was gross. And if any of y'all out there, whoever watches this after it's been recorded, if y'all like Bud Light, that's fine. That is totally fine. I don't. I still don't. And at that time, the only thing he had
in his snob.
I know, like, oh, really? You don't like you don't like Coors either? I actually will drink a Coors Banquet. I do like a Coors Banquet. But so the only thing he had in his fridge was Gatorade. So I literally chased the Bud Light with Gatorade. And forever, like, my buddies will still bring it up. Like, oh, you're the dude who like, you have this beer page, but you chased your Bud Light with Gatorade like way back in the day. And I'm like, yeah, it was gross. Like,
you blocked Micah Hyde, who was trying to gun down your return man, but yeah, you're a wimp because you couldn't finish a Bud Light.
Right.
Blocked is a strong word. I slowed him down so he could get to the returner. That's a more apt word. He still made it down there, but I made it difficult for him.
You were in the screen.
I was. If it panned over to him, yeah, I was there.
I hope that return man fair caught.
Oh gosh, I don't remember. Probably. Who would have been at the time? It was probably V. Yeah, he probably fair caught it. He didn't like to return a whole lot, but when he did, that dude was fast. So he returned one to the house against Penn State when it was like 108,000 there. That was pretty dope.
Happy Valley. Cool. We didn't bring Happy Valley up, man. What's that place like?
Same. Super. It's very like tall. Like, I walked in and it was like, woof. Like, if I was a fan in the nosebleeds, like, I would be terrified. Like, it's like straight drop. But that was it was like one of their whiteout games, one of the years. So that was really cool to see. A ton of people like, that was the epitome of, you're on the field and you can't like really hear the guy next to you because it was so loud, like between the music and like the fans like yelling, like it was just like everything was like coming center right on your head. So that was cool. Happy Valley definitely is up there too with cool places. Yeah, 100%.
And I feel like, as far, because we also talked about like how a lot of people kind of use a lot of the SEC fans as sort of like the standard for good and bad reasons, because they're most spirited, but they're also the craziest and the drunkest. And I can vouch for that. They are the craziest and the drunkest. I feel like Penn State fans could give them a run. I almost feel like Penn State is almost sort of SEC-ish in its drunkenness and its craziness. Yeah.
The fans were, I remember we pulled in, it was an earlier game. We pulled in probably like sometime around like 8 or 9 in the morning, something like that. And you can tell people had been there, like not only drinking, but like had been there for a while drinking. Like they were tailgating hard. So yeah, I would probably put them in that category. I don't know what it is, but I feel like every time I see Bama fans, I generally don't dislike a fan group, but every time they pan to those dudes wearing suits, like at the games, I'm like, bro, I can't stand you right now. Like, I don't know what it is about you, but I am not. This whole thing you're doing in your suit, like it's almost like oh holier than thou fan of football.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a
know?
Southern thing.
I know, and I know it
Yeah,
is, which is
and
why
they're not
I know
alone.
that's
Yeah,
like a history.
you'll
Like
see
I'm sure that's
shirt
what
and
they used
tie
to
in
wear.
Gainesville,
Oh,
Auburn.
I
and
used to
it's
see
just
it at
like,
Tech. Like in Tech's
oh,
not on the level of in terms of fans of any of these schools, but they would like yellow blazer, white shirt, yellow tie. Oh yeah, yeah.
oh, see, and I mean Northwestern was like one of the nerdiest schools out there, and you would never catch a fan wearing a suit, like never. And I know there's history behind it, but gee dang, like if I ever saw that as a player, I would have lost it. I would have been like, what is going on right now with
Oh yeah,
with
these fans. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's like a real Southern thing.
It's a thing. Yeah, they pan in the crowd, and there's a bunch of dudes wearing them.
Oh
Yeah.
man. But don't get me started on. This is
Oh,
taking on a tangent, but I love talking about crappy fans because like from all the days of like covering sports and being a fan, like I love it, man. All right, so worst fans ever, and I don't give a crap on this if they listen to this, whatever. You can send
Yeah,
me an email. I don't care a
they
crap.
can sue us. Who
Oh,
cares?
okay, so all right. The two easily come to mind worst fan bases, and there's a third one that I know Kevin will co-sign on.
oh,
But
he knows. He
these
started
two
laughing.
I have more exposure to these two. Is LSU fans and Florida fans the worst?
You know what's funny? They would say the same thing about each other.
They would. And that's the funny thing. They hate each other.
Yeah.
Both fan bases like hate. Like there isn't really like an LSU Florida rivalry per se, but those fan bases, if they do, and every once in a while, I think actually they may play every year. That might be the one crossover game for both teams in division. But man, those LSU fans it's different reasons. LSU fans are the drunkest fans. Like they are literally the drunkest human beings that I have ever seen.
You're making Coach O proud. He's
Good
proud
for
of the
them.
fan base, man. Hold that tiger. Hold my beer.
I can't imagine the fact that they won a national championship in New Orleans. I can't even imagine. It's insane. It kind of blows my mind to think about that. They're crazy.
I mean, they had Joe Burrow, man, met the legend himself.
Dude, they had a whole team. They had like
They did have a whole team.
every skill position had a guy getting drafted in the first round.
They at every level they'll have someone. They're gonna have someone in the league for sure.
That was like half of a professional team playing against kids.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other one, Florida's. Florida fans aren't as drunk as LSU fans, but they're very much like. And it has, and part of this is I'm biased a little bit because I covered college football right in the middle of the Tebow time period. So like, and so they're like, everything is just, I mean, it's God's right that they win football games and, and every once in a while win a basketball game. And so
I can see the Florida, I think, fans wise. I feel like LSU, I feel like I would respond better to like that type of fan than like a Bama fan. I don't know why, but like if they're just like belligerent and like just at a game enjoying the game like through like beer goggles, like cool, like whatever, like say whatever you want to say. But like if you're a Bama fan and you just like are there in a suit, like even if you don't take a sip of beer, like I already know you're gonna have this like perception of like how your team is like compared to mine. I'm like, nah, like not a fan of that at all.
Is it fair to say that after this many consecutive years of having retardedly good success, that Alabama is almost like corporate football?
Oh yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think they would. My brother-in-law's putting something up to the window. He made me laugh. I think it was funny. Right before you said that, I remember someone saying like, "Oh, if Bama played like the Browns, like they would crush them." Like this was like years ago. I remember my buddy said, "I'm like, no, they wouldn't."
No, that's
like,
not true.
Yeah, you have to realize. You have to realize that like dudes on an NFL team are all the best dudes from their college teams.
Yeah.
Like you don't make the NFL and suck. Like that does not happen. Like so even like the top tier college program, like I don't even know if it would be like a game, to be honest. Like they might hang in there the first quarter. I don't know. But they definitely would not beat an NFL team. So I think
They might get the edge early, but I think once
it's like the classic
once the Browns figure out, wait a minute, these guys can play a little bit. Now let's get
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're actually playing football. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, right.
So I think that Bama, yes, I think is like almost like a football factory.
Yeah.
At this point, and that's been known. But they do a great job in their program, and that's not to slide them in the least. They produce year over year like top tier talent. I mean, they get cream of the crop. They get the best of the best. Fun fact: Najee Harris of Alabama is from around these parts. They're running back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
He's from like a pretty rural area around here.
So that goes to show you how far their recruiting goes out.
Yeah, that's
serious. I remember I heard inklings that he was getting recruited by Bama, and I was like, everyone says that about like all the best dudes around here. And then sure enough, he went and he played like his true freshman year, and I was like, and his true freshman year, he was like, I think he was like 6'1", like 215, and I was like, oh my gosh, that dude was in high school last year.
Yeah.
Like that's not fair.
Well, that's like Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is like 6'2", 6'3", and I've seen like he's from Florida. I think like the Everglades area, so down either Everglades area or from the Panhandle, one or the other, probably Panhandle, true, because they get a lot of Panhandle guys.
Mm-hmm.
And like he was like way bigger than all the other players. Like just kind of like how he's pretty big dude now.
He's still ripped and like massive for a running back.
Yeah, like he was like that with high school players, like just literally running through guys.
That is
running through guys, running them away from him.
Well, he might only touch the ball maybe like 9 or 10 times, and they're like, all right, we got this game. Let's go ahead and rest him.
Yeah, he scored 7.
I think they were destroying teams too. I forget the high school. It's a small. He's from a small town, and I mean, they were just like destroying teams. Like it was just.
And I'm a Titans fan, so I'm very happy with his production.
He is for today, and this changes often. He is the best running back in the NFL today, but it does happen. It does change a lot. Yeah.
And I would say that only because I don't know if there's a running back who can literally put a team on his back the way that he did in the second half of the season. I mean,
probably not since like Peyton.
Honestly, like he won multiple. I remember there was one game. I think it was in the playoffs. I think it was first round, and he literally had all the yards and scored on one drive. Like it was all him. They ran. I think they threw him a screen, and then boom, he scored. Like, and I was like, who does that?
Like let Tannehill throw it 30 times?
Oh god.
Yeah, right.
Don't get me started on
no wide
receivers. Of course they're doing that.
Don't get me started on the quarterback. That's and Tannehill did great. Like he did great for what he was given. But I was bummed to see Mariota sat. I was like, they had a phenomenal season. Like I was very happy, but it's like the same thing where it's like, what would have happened if he just stuck with Marcus and see what happened. But I was happy with the result. It was like the first year in a long time where I would tell people I'm a Titans fan, and they would think I was a bandwagoner because of how they were doing. And I'm like, no. This has been me for a long time. Like, this is just the first year you're realizing we're okay.
You know what shuts up people when they say you're a bandwagon fan? It's just like having a tattoo.
I haven't had enough beer yet for you to convince me. But I should probably go get another one. And if you say that again in about 10 minutes, you might.
I don't think they're open yet. So I would say you might want to wait a couple months.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like I know a guy. He probably just tattooed me in his garage.
I know.
Uber tattoo.
Even if it's
a lot of
we tag
like a little logo there. Like
underground tattooing going on.
Underground.
Yeah.
Well, Johnny, you mentioned Florida. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You mentioned Florida and LSU, but I think there was a third.
There was a third.
The other one's the other one's UCF.
As I say, it wouldn't have to be it wouldn't be a fan base that literally bought themselves championship rings and they didn't even make it to the tournament.
That was the tie dispute, right? Technically,
UCF was
they're claiming Kali Matrix championship. They didn't even play in the playoff.
Yeah, the year that they went unbeaten like 2 years ago.
2017.
They won the bowl game against
they beat Auburn.
Yeah. They said they basically wanted. They basically essentially launched a marketing campaign to say that they were national championship. So they floated through the media, social media, billboards throughout Orlando.
They got banners at the stadium.
Banners at the
approved that?
stadium. They got
Like-
Disney kind of in on it, so they did a
Oh yeah, they did
championship
a parade at Disney.
at Disney. Yeah,
but they actually sold, like, you know, you can buy like you can buy like the ring, like
Yeah.
like a championship ring. Like, so they got rings, the players got rings, and the fans could buy like the fake versions.
Yeah. So fans got rings too.
No, that's gross.
Yeah, it's like the most obnoxious thing. Now, some of it, I mean, it's marketing, so some of it is genius because it got UCF, it got them attention that like Boise State didn't do it a few years ago. Western Michigan didn't do it when they went unbeaten. You know, it's attention. You know,
I guess, but they kind of took it a little bit too far with the ring deal. Like that's, I don't know. The fact that the fact that somebody would spend money on that, like, is a testament to how loyal they are to their fan base. But at the same time, like, why are you buying a ring you didn't even
There's
win?
a fine line between loyalty and complete batshit delusion.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing is with those fans, so that's like marketing, and that's like whatever. People would tell whatever narrative, and college football kind of allows you to sort of tell the narrative.
Yeah.
You want to tell it. Their fans, they're just like, they're very, they're a little bit in the Florida vein of like, okay, they'll take a little bit of success and elevate it to like godlike levels.
We are the best.
Yeah, they're the best. We could beat anybody.
They think they're the best team in the state.
Yeah, and but they're like,
that
we're the
tell
best
you
in the
everything
country.
that you need to know right there. They think they're the best team. They think they could roll up to Gainesville. They could go down to Coral. They think that they could go up to Tallahassee, and they would expect to win all three.
Yeah. So
You gotta admire confidence like that. Let me tell you, that's what you need in a football team.
Yeah. It's almost kind of like that sort of. It's the type of bravado that kind of sort of. I mean, like I said, it's an interesting case study. Kevin hates him because he went to USF.
Fair enough.
They're annoying, but I always think it's almost kind of like that. Like, you know how people you just want to hate, and they're so obnoxious they make you hate them. And so, but really, the best thing to do is just ignore them because you're just stupid. And it's
but they're putting themselves out there for you to like just see 24/7.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. Like, it's not like they're being quiet and annoying. Like, they're broadcasting some false truth.
You should look them up on Twitter. They literally have their own. They have their own Twitter. Like, they basically are their own Twitter mafia.
Yeah.
I feel like Twitter is also so negative that I can't get behind it.
It goes beyond football. They actually think that getting into that school that has over 60,000 students is somehow like shows that like intelligence.
Yeah. So
I don't know if that school even rejects applicants.
I don't know, but I don't know about that. But I feel what I do know is their fans are also surprisingly belligerent. They're not just since they became good either. Like they were pretty bad when it was because this is all they're being good. It's like a relatively new thing. Like 3 years ago they were getting blasted. Like in 2017 they're getting blasted, and they had a year where they didn't win any games. Their fans were belligerent then. They're very. I mean, yeah.
And you just wonder, like, why? Like, what grounds do you have to stand on for any of this?
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, I'd be curious. And like I said, I've totally just derailed this, but like, I'd be curious to know, like, okay, how would the other fan bases feel about you? Like, how does the Memphis fan base feel about UCF or like?
They had a fantastic year.
Yeah.
Temple, yeah. I mean, you could even put like Houston in that category.
Or Houston, yeah. Other fan bases that they have good teams, whatever. They're in that. I probably hate them too. Probably they probably just like screw those guys. Yeah,
I don't think you're being biased just to like Floridian teams. I think that's like a universal. Like, if your fan base sucks and like is putting you on this pedestal that you have not like officially earned.
If you haven't earned, yeah.
No, you're dead to me.
It goes beyond that too. Scott Frost was the coach in 2017 when they went undefeated. I can't remember if it was his offensive coordinator or his quarterback's coach. One of them was literally like quoted on record as saying, "Yeah, that national championship thing is hokey." But he said that after he went to Lincoln, after they got the job to go to Lincoln.
Oh, of course. Why would he say it when he's? I mean,
Of course, yeah.
buttering his bread. Like,
Yeah.
Probably afraid that people are going to come break into his house and threaten his family.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Good
yeah.
Lord.
Plus, also like Scott Frost, I mean, he just did what everybody else does. They like he parlayed it. Right. Matter of fact, he's the real MVP in all of this because
Yeah.
without that extra set of attention, he doesn't get quite as much of attention, and he doesn't get the big money job, big money, big
Yep.
time.
Yep.
He gets another job somewhere, but not like a job that is paying him a ton of dough. So.
And I mean, if you're in a premier conference, you're getting paid.
Oh yeah.
You are getting paid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's probably among the top paid employees, state employees in the state of Nebraska, I would imagine.
I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure.
Oh,
yeah. So, but all right. So wait, what else we got here? You know what? Finish this up with a couple of things. We do a couple different segments that we finish up with.
Okay.
I have been on the hunt for quarantine-related beers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have some more that I'll screenshot. And so this is something we do because I don't really leave the house, so I got a lot of time.
Of course, no one does nowadays.
So let's see what we got this week here.
So are these beers that like people have made specifically like because of quarantine?
Yes. And so this is the first one. Tell me if you could see this.
It says you're okay. Yeah, here we go. What is this?
Yeah, this is Swamp Head Social Gathering.
Oh, I like that.
Yes. Apparently it's pretty good beer, actually. And I'm not a big Swamp Head guy. Out of Gainesville, Florida, ironically enough. But yeah, supposedly this is a pretty solid beer. It's an
IPA.
Yeah. And this guy does a lot of IPA stuff. He's I think Eric Loves IPA is based out of Gainesville too. So
I feel like I follow him.
Oh, it says it's in New England. It might be a hazy IPA.
Yeah, it's in New England there, right there.
Yeah.
Looks pretty solid. I mean,
yeah.
I like the label a lot. I see what they did there with the hops are adequately distanced away from each other.
Yes.
I like that.
That's very important because that's the future of social gathering, I think.
That is, yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna start like when we can actually start going places. Initially, I think I'm gonna bring a tape measure and
just walk with like a 6-foot like radius around you, like a bubble or like get rods,
I'm
like
just gonna have my
you.
fly open. That's how I'm gonna be able to tell.
Oh, that's way easier.
That's way easier. Yes, but also more challenging too. So I don't know.
And it may have the opposite. It may have the opposite effect. You never know. I mean,
yeah, they might be drawn.
You might be like, "Whoa, over there, Kevin." They're gonna be like, "Oh, all right, screw social distancing." Like that's
like a moth to the flame.
Like a moth to the flame.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
like flies to shit.
Yeah. Either one. The analogy is the same.
Still, yeah, it all works out. So
I like that one. That's a cool one.
All right, let me see my next one here. Let's see, share. They're find. Oh yeah, hold on. Let's working with technology here, boys. Bear with me here.
I thought about brewing a quarantine themed beer because I'm gonna brew another batch.
I want to do one too.
Yeah, I ended up going with the label.
My idea was like I was thinking like maybe doing like well, I guess if I was going to do an IPA and then maybe you could do like several versions. So I guess you could do like have a standard and then do like a session afterwards.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
But I was thinking like the session would be like 99% survival rate. And then like the heavier one might be like 97% survival rate.
I'm doing an IPA series that I was already thinking about doing before the quarantine stuff. And it was, a base I used for a pale ale, and I'm going to alter it for different IPAs, like a West Coast and New England and a double and other ones too. But, what is that?
Oh, yes.
99.99%.
That's our boy Smooth J.
Yeah. Homie Smooth J. He's this is actually a beer jacket. It's not the beer itself. But
that's really funny. That's really funny.
This is like the It's the coolest thing I've seen in a while. It's really actually the coolest thing I've seen since I started doing this.
How about a Tiger King face mask?
It's a Tiger King face mask.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Joe Exotic over his mouth right now.
I know. Like,
and if you could hear his voice, dude, this man, I swear, is like he could be Tone Loc's voice double.
Oh
yeah, he's got an incredible voice. Like he
sounds like he needs to be recorded.
I need to follow him. Who is this Smooth J?
Smooth J 29. He's local to he's down here. He's been our show once. Before all this started, he was actually supposed to be on a big panel show that we were doing, and so all that kind of got blown away. And so I am efforting to get Smooth J. So if you see this, Jason,
Smooth,
Mr. Smooth,
I just followed him. His page looks pretty dope.
Johnny, the hat he's got on, is that the Prairie Bomb logo?
Is it? I don't know. I'm looking at my can now. I need to re-beer myself too, so I don't have to cut this short. But
I need to re-beer. Refill.
Because I'm upstairs, so like the fridge is downstairs. So I need to actually get a fridge up here. But yeah, so I do not know. I will ask him on this post actually. He's pretty active on the socials, so let's see. And let's see, the third one I have to open up here.
Is this like quintessential save the best for last?
Nah. That was actually probably the best one. It is actually in the order for which I am. Let's see. This one might not even be the most awesome one, but it's an awesome person who was just on our show. But the can, it's hard to see, but it says catastrophic implications.
Oh.
It's kind of like a broken rubber.
I'm trying to see what the logo or what the label is. That a brain? It is a brain.
I think it's a brain.
That's supposed to be
stars around it.
I thought it was like a planet and it had like craters in it.
That actually might be an actual like MRI scan of my brain after 5 concussions. That might be it.
Is that the CTE right there?
It could be.
So, do you have stars? Do you see stars? Like
I have seen stars many times.
Oh
while
man,
it's getting hit. Yeah, that's a real thing.
Oh, I know. That's happened to me too. Yeah, like I've had it.
Did
I've
you
only
play
had one
with
concussion.
like a second or third generation helmet where they had like the I can't remember who the company was, but they basically made helmets to make them a lot less susceptible to concussions.
The company I remember coming out when I was like later years in high school and college was Zenith. They had like a revolutionary design. I didn't have that. I usually used like a Revolution or a Shutt. Those were the two that I usually liked using because they were just comfortable. I mean, more than anything.
Okay.
But yeah, I had a few good ones, a couple minor ones, but a few that I was like, oof, I'm gonna be out for a while after this one.
Did you ever have like where obviously they picked the uniform that you were going to wear, but when they picked the uniform, it probably changed the helmet you had to wear to match it? There were times you were like, man, I want to wear that helmet.
Yeah, they did. There was one time where we had, oh man, what was it? We did we had these American flag uniforms we did one year.
Yep.
And
probably like Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, and they switched up the helmet for whatever reason. I think like maybe like it wasn't like all of them, but like certain brands they had to like redo. And I remember I didn't have the same helmet that game. Really bummed me out. The one helmet I never got to wear, which I've always wanted to wear, was we had a matte black like helmet with like some new uniforms we did for Halloween, and I was injured that week, so I didn't get to wear it. But I remember it was super dope looking, and I was like,
"That's wow!" Man.
And we had like an arch at school, like it's like the arch, and they had like a gothic like gold arch on the back of it, like on the if I find a picture, I'll send it to you guys. It was pretty sweet.
That's cool.
Speaking of like helmets. Because I presume Maryland was actually Big Ten when you were there.
Yes, they switched my sophomore year.
What the hell is all over that helmet? That looks like it looks like a set of library books or something. On the back. I
believe it's like their college like crest, but it's just like zoomed in.
Yeah.
On their helmet. Yeah. Like so, it's like showing you like just a portion of it.
It looks like a stack of books or something.
They must pride them. Maybe they have like the oldest library in the nation. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
That sounds kind of believable. Like Maryland's an old state.
Maryland's
like,
old.
Yeah. I don't know.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Terps, though. I'm more confused on their actual like mascot more than anything. Like it's a turtle.
It's a
You
turtle.
know what's crazy? That state to me is more known for like crabs.
Yeah, but like you don't want to be like the crabs.
No.
Yeah, because crabs get eaten.
But
like,
you'd rather be the turtle.
It's like an aggressive look. I think it's technically like a snapping turtle. It looks like a snapping turtle.
Oh, I don't doubt he's a big, old, aggressive.
I mean, he looks burly, you know. Yeah, but a turtle. Like we used to be Northwestern used to be the Mennonites when they first were in college. That's a fun fact. It was like way back.
My uncle actually went to Northwestern a long time ago.
Oh, did he? Cool.
Yeah, he was a chemist.
Of course he was.
So yeah. So I happen to know that's a hard school to get into.
Yeah. There's only like I think there's like 8,000 kids that go there. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So it's
pretty small. Yeah.
Yeah. But I loved it. It was great. Yeah. But definitely smart. I met some of the smartest dudes in my life.
Did they recruit you all the way out in Cali to go there?
Yeah, I decommitted from Stanford, and then the like 3 days after I decommitted, I got a call from the OC, and he was like, "Hey, I heard you decommitted. Like, you know, you want to take a visit?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so I went out. I went out like in January, out there, and it was snowing. Yeah, it was cold, and I loved it. And I was like, boom, and Fitz offered me on that trip on my official. So
wow,
yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah. Definitely. And I remember I said yes like before even like he finished his sentence because I was like absolutely, like of course I'm gonna come here, you know. So it was a great experience. My mom still thanks me for not having to pay any money for college. So
I'll bet.
Well, she should. Like
I do have a younger sister. She's 10 years younger, so I think she's holding out that she will also go somewhere for free. So if she can go 2 for 2, that's like every parent's dream, I feel like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That. So, but are my boys playing football? Absolutely not.
My wife's already decided that. We have one, but she's already decided she doesn't want to play.
Well, we're having
I want him to be able to discover and find what he loves.
100%. And I told my wife, I was like, because she's been with me since we were 15, so she's seen me go through every single injury I have, and I told her, I was like, okay, if the boys really want to play it, I'm going to coach them for as long as I can. I was like, I'm not going to let anybody else coach them how to hit, how to take a hit, nothing. Like, I'm going to coach them. But our oldest does like sports. He did soccer this past year. That was his first sport we put him in. But he's also super, like, he's like weirdly smart. Like, he's probably smarter than me at this point, and he's going to be 4.
Well, maybe he can get to Stanford without having to pay too.
Honestly, I mean, I think our younger son will want to do it. He's kind of like the stockier one, and he sees a ball and he just like full steam ahead goes for it. Yeah. So we'll see. And we're having a third boy, so we're basically just building a basketball team at this point.
Nice.
That's the goal. That's not.
You need 2 more.
Yeah, two more in a small California house probably won't add up really well out here.
They'll find a smaller town than Eureka.
Seriously, good.
Oh man, that's cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
real estate's out there is pretty expensive, man.
We bought at an okay time. Our house was a good deal. But yeah, we'll be paying this thing until we're like 98 or something like that. I don't know. Like it's just a long time.
Any chance you roll out to like Arizona or Texas or something?
I think we do want to move out of state. Yeah, it'll be a while. But we do want to move 100%. And whether it's somewhere else in California or I prefer out of state because it's cheaper. And after traveling so much for work, I kind of got like my favorite states now, like in my head a little bit. You know, and places like Washington coming to mind and Texas coming to mind. And I haven't been to like Wyoming or Montana. Like I haven't been anywhere out there yet, but I hear it's also beautiful. My wife really wants to go to Boise. So it's in the cards. When? Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
We'd have to do a ton of work on our house now and make sure we get more money than what we bought it for, which shouldn't be too hard, but
yeah, I mean, my time's out there because I've done NorCal a couple times with the wife and talking to like small businesses and everything like that. things like farmers markets and stuff, I could tell that people are like, yeah, I'm kind of 1 foot out the door. Everyone seems to have the same opinion that they love it there. They want to stay.
I
And
do.
it's just a matter of, is it viable?
I think the reasons for us staying are our families are both here. We have the kids. But at the same time, like, it is expensive. I hate the heat. I loathe the heat. And our summers get into triple digits so much. Like, it's hot.
And it's a dry heat. It's like an oven heat.
Yeah. I mean, like, the only good thing is, like, if it's not humidity, at least you can, like, go in the shade out here and you'll be okay. But between how expensive it is, like the tax, all that kind of stuff, you know, it would have been different. Like, we were born and raised here, so that's obviously why we're here. But we loved when we lived in Chicago when I was in school. You know, we tell people if we didn't have kids, we'd probably still be there, because that's really, the kids are what brought us back here. So we do eventually want to move. My dream place, I tell you right now, I'm gonna end up in Ireland. I don't care what the situation is. We went there for 2 weeks, and I'm like, I'm living here.
You gonna be in a castle?
Yeah, I don't care where. I'll live on a farm. I'd prefer a farm, but I'll go wherever in Ireland. Nice. We went over the whole country, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And
I've been to UK. I haven't been to Ireland yet. I'd like to check it out.
You gotta go. It's fantastic, and the food's good.
Heard good things about Ireland. Yeah.
There's good beer. I mean, Guinness tastes 1,000 times different in Ireland than it does out here. And we went to a couple little small like monkish breweries.
The distilleries are probably amazing there.
And I love me some
I'm
scotch,
sure they're off the charts.
some whiskey. So we're gonna.
My time in the UK, man, I was so disappointed in the beer. I was like, this is just.
I feel like the UK is about.
This is the style and the way that we make it, and we're not going to change.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because like so much about craft beer stemmed from, you know, British and European, you know, recipes and traditions. And I think we've just like not even adapted, but like evolved them.
Yeah.
Whereas which again, I'm sure if you go get like a pub ale, like an English pub, like it's really good, you know, but you can't really compare it to like a pub ale that's made out here. You know, it's going to be two totally different things. And the beer we had in Ireland,
there's no hops out there. And there's very little malt profile. It's literally, I mean, if you ask for the darkest thing they have that's not a Guinness, and you said, give me the hoppiest thing you had, and then you said, you know what, just give me the easiest thing to drink, I think all three might feel like the same beer.
Would be the same thing.
Yeah.
I do remember when we were in Ireland, I remember like a 6-pack of Corona was like $17.
I believe it.
And I was like,
sure. What?
And when we walked into all the pubs and stuff, and they saw we were from the States, they're like, oh, do you guys want like a PBR? Like, they love PBR. Like, and they think we love it. And I'm like, no.
You know, I would say, like, unless I'm cooking, no, I don't want it.
Yeah. I was like, I came here for good beer. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, plus you want to have what's there. Like, you don't want to drink, like, you didn't go all the way to Ireland to drink something you could just buy off the shelf, like at Walmart.
We had a lot of Guinness. We had really good red ale from Franciscan Wells. That was really good. Man, yeah. And that was like before like my beer nerd days. But we still had some good beer. We had good food too. Oof. Like little blood sausage. It was really good. Like they use like jowl bacon from like the pig.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. That sounds good. Man.
Like potato leek soup, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Just real like comfort. Like it's not anything fancy or crazy, but it's just super comfort. Like you'll scarf it down. And that's where I learned to like tea. That was the first time I really like tried tea, because we stayed at bed and breakfast, and every time you walk in, they offer you tea and tea and biscuits, and you know it was like okay. So yeah, I learned to like tea there. I have tea all the time.
Like mostly like tiny little villages where you were, or did you go like to Dublin or someplace?
We flew into Dublin. We stayed 2 days right outside of Dublin in a little town called Skerries, but it was like a quick like trip in. And then from Dublin, we rented a car and stayed, in like really small, like coastal towns, like Waterford. We stayed in like County Cork and Clare, and did a bunch of cool scenic stuff. We stayed in a castle for one of the B&Bs, and that was super cool. He had like a painting of one of his ancestors who was like a member of King Arthur's like table. And it was like in the dining. It was crazy. And the estate.
Their history, man. It's like adding extra zeros to the end of our history.
Gosh. The best part was it wasn't very expensive. Like I think we stayed either 1 or 2 nights at that castle. And it was like honestly like 145 a night.
Oh,
You
wow.
probably get a smoking deal right now.
Yes. They might pay you to come stay there to help them keep
Yeah,
going.
really.
But
Yeah.
no, it was fantastic. We recommend Ireland to anybody. I mean, it was a really fun time, and I would probably not be friends with the person who says they don't like Ireland. On it, if they've been like, I think if you live there, it's a different thing. But like, if you're visiting, like you have to have a good time. You know, you have to have a good time.
I mean, I'd love to check it out. So
Yeah.
it's on my list. I just don't know when I'm
Me
going to
too.
do it.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah. Same here. I'm not exactly sure when, but it's there. It's actually probably there in like maybe Spain and maybe up the northern parts of Europe are probably the places I want to visit. I
Spain's
actually
probably
not.
really cool.
Yeah, not dying for England or France, even though we have a good family friend that lives in France, and so we
Oh, you
have
have an
somewhere to
excuse to
stay for
go.
free. So we probably would do it. That's probably honestly that will happen probably before the other ones do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Ireland, Spain, and all because of the food.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The
I would go
Mediterranean, the
I'd
Greek.
go for the wine too. I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm being, that's what I do for work. So I'm
Yeah. What wife wants to go to Bordeaux? She loves her favorite kind of
Ooh.
wine is that. So she wants to go out to Bordeaux.
Yeah.
But my son's 3, so I'm guessing maybe in 12 years or so.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is, you know, we went before we had kids, and we definitely want to go travel internationally with the boys, but it's like, where's that sweet spot where you want them to remember it, but want them to like not be a pain when you're on the trip, like kind of a deal. And we did like the Disneyland thing last year, so our oldest would have been 2, would have almost been 3, and our youngest was almost going to be 1. And we went to Disneyland for my buddy was getting married out there, so we did like a day when we went to Disneyland, and it was like, like our oldest remembers
your kids
it.
are young, so
Yeah, oldest remembers it. Youngest one, absolutely not. He slept like most of the time, you know. So now we're like, well, great. Now we have to go back because we want Simon, our youngest, to remember it, and you know all this stuff. And yeah, so
honestly, I would say right now, like I said, my daughter's 10. If we were to go to Europe now, it'd be fine.
I would think a 10-year-old. I think really anything from like 7 and up, like depending on like your kid, you know.
Yeah,
I went to Washington D.C. when I was 8, and I thought it was like so boring and stupid. And I feel like now, if I was to go back and go there and go to like Williamsburg, I would think it's the coolest place.
Yeah,
so I don't know if 7 really is.
Yeah, I mean,
we're going to Washington. We're thinking we're going to go this year with COVID.
Washington State or DC?
DC.
Oh yeah, I've always wanted to go. I've never been. I heard the beer scene there is pretty cool too right now.
Oh yeah,
pretty good.
Around people.
DC, around the district. Yeah.
Virginia beer scene is rocking actually.
Dang.
Yeah.
I'm real bummed. I had a lot of trips planned for work. I was supposed to be in Nashville in 2 weeks for work.
Another good city.
I know, and I've never been, and so we're really bummed about it. But you know,
it's not going anywhere.
It's hopefully not. I mean, shoot, I don't want this thing to be like some modern day Atlantis where, you know, cities just start crumbling because there's no economy to support them.
You guys remember Nashville? Yeah, it's not there anymore.
Oh man, remember when we used to go there? Yeah, now it's just a giant crater in the.
Yeah, just cut it out.
Yeah.
Now it's just a crater like in that can that we saw though.
Yep. Black spot on that brain. That's Nashville.
Yeah. That was Nashville.
That was it was nice, good times, but you know now it's not. You just skip right over it now. Just take a breeze over Nashville.
Hey Jordan, you got a beer trip that you want to go? Like I want to go to this town because I want to go there for the beer.
Oh man, that's a really good. I think I have 2 different categories. There's stuff I want to revisit and stuff I want to go to that I've never been. I've actually never been to Portland.
Which one?
Oregon.
Oh, okay.
I know there's a Portland, Maine, but I really want to go to Portland, Oregon, just because I know that's one of the beer meccas of.
Yeah, I've been to both.
Okay, so in your opinion, like,
what? I love Portland, Maine. Maine is just amazing.
Do you love it because of like the scenery? Because I know there are a bunch of states like that are beautiful, but I want to go for beer.
The scenery is beautiful. The entire West Coast has beautiful scenery. And in fact, if you go inland, I think Utah, although it's very fucked up, it is one of the most beautiful states.
I have heard Utah is
It's a scenic fuck storm.
Well, and if you get past like the Utah beer law and all that stuff, like
no, there's no getting past that.
I mean, I'll have 3-2 beer all day, but eventually I got to have something else.
Yeah. Portland, Maine is, I mean, the entire Maine coast is just amazingly gorgeous. It has terrific food. The beer scene in itself is probably more like gastropubs. I mean, there are I mean, like Allagash is there. I mean, like, Sea Dog's there if you want to go with that. But it's really more of the experience of being in the city of Portland. It's a very, very walkable city.
Cool.
There's some very cool places to go in Portland, Maine. One of my favorite restaurants I've ever been to is just a raw oyster bar that has it's just raw oysters and craft beer. It's called Eventide, and it's like right in the historic or the old, I guess the artsy area of like Portland, Maine.
That's so
just
dope.
a very kick-ass place.
My wife said she wanted to move to Maine one time, and I was like, "We've never even been there. Like, how do you know?"
It would be worth a trip, in my opinion. I mean, I loved it when we were there.
So I was supposed to go to Delaware and Philly for work, and I was really stoked about it.
Mm-hmm.
But ended up not happening, obviously. But yeah, I think that whole area of the U.S. is like unexplored territory for me.
It's weird how you're in the Northeast and everything would be exactly what you expect. People are the way you expect. The pace is what you would expect. But then you go a little bit further Northeast and all of a sudden it starts getting a little bit more like the Midwest.
Oh, and I love Midwestern people.
So like Maine's kind of like people from Indiana, but they happen to be in a Northeastern state.
Oh, you just sold me. You just sold me on it. Honestly.
That's pretty.
So maybe
accurate.
that's my new beer city that I want.
But now I've also done Portland, Oregon, and I also loved Portland, Oregon. But it's kind of your classic big city divided by a river. And
I'm cool with that. Like if there's good folks, entertaining stuff, good beer, and there's got to be a food scene. Like
Portland is just the only way to describe Portland is one word, and it's eclectic. Portland is its own like strange little phenomena. But
I have to say it's like
really cool spots.
I would imagine it's like San Francisco, but less expensive.
That's probably extremely oversimplifying it.
I'm a simple guy.
It doesn't have the nostalgic coolness that San Francisco has, but it also doesn't have like Sausalito's right there. You can go to some awesome Asian food in Sausalito. And then my favorite place on the planet is Napa. You're about an hour and a half away from Napa when you're in San Francisco. So there's so many cool little parts about SFO. Portland, you get Willamette Valley, about an hour or half hour south.
It's a good wine region. That's on the up and up.
There's some really cool little places there.
Yeah.
It definitely far more of a like. It feels more like farm town Midwestern than going down to California does. The coolness factor of like being able to sit in the same bar as Jack Kerouac, though, you can't get anything like that in either one of these places. Like the history just doesn't have like a hit home type of like thing. But I mean, I liked Portland, Oregon. Like if you want to eat food, you got a whole bevy of options. The breweries actually, Portland, it feels like where the breweries sell beer to tourists. Everything is actually in Bend. Everything's actually outside of Portland.
Bend is where Deschutes is, isn't it?
Yes, but Deschutes also has a tasting room in Portland. So do most breweries.
Oh shit! Yeah, of course.
See, and I try to avoid like the tasting room. I always try to go like to the brewery, like when I'm traveling. If I can't for whatever reason, like I go. But
Portland definitely would be like your foodie spot. You're gonna get access to a lot of the same beer that you could. Mm-hmm. Not all of it, but you're going to get access to a lot. Like Rogue has a very large tasting room. And so so a lot of these places that are actually more so like in Bend or outside the area of Portland, they still do a predominant, like they sell a lot of liquid in Portland.
Right.
And a lot of tourists are going to come through there. But to me, I mean, nothing against rivers going through cities. Lots of big cities have rivers going through them. That may be how they were formed. But you definitely can feel like you're on very, very different like class levels of the city because of it. Like I think of like Cincinnati, London. These are places that the river kind of definitely separates things a bit. Maine isn't that way at all, obviously.
Dang, I gotta get
If
to
you
Maine.
loved Ireland and you loved the small villages of Ireland, I think you would be all about Portland, Maine. And I think you'd be amazed at how cool it is. Now, in my opinion, though, like what I'm planning for my life is I'm thinking maybe have a summer home there or a condo
Right.
or something that's under
Wouldn't
very low
wouldn't live.
maintenance
Yeah, yeah.
there. But who knows? I mean, if I could afford it, I would pack up everything and be somewhere near Napa.
Right.
But
And Napa is great. I'm about like an hour and 10 minutes from there right now, and I go there for work a bunch and all that stuff. And but next time you want to go to Napa, there are other areas out here.
and we love Sonoma. We would go and spend a whole day at one of the little towns
Oh
that were
yeah,
around there, and they
like
were just the coolest things ever.
I would tell you next time you're out here, you definitely got to go to Mendocino. Mendocino is like one of my favorite areas. Beautiful, beautiful scenery, beaches all over. It's super close to North Coast. You ever heard of that beer? They do like Scrimshaw and Old Rasputin.
Yeah.
I love all Rasputin.
Yeah, they're in Fort Bragg, so it's right next to Mendocino. But Mendocino has great wine, really cool food, and it's like that small beachy town kind of feel. I would argue that Jackson and Sutter Creek, which are a little bit closer actually it's pretty even from me to Napa, but they have really good wine. And you talk about like small farm town, like really, really friendly people with like small shops, like 3 restaurants, but they all do like stuff well, kind of a deal. Those 2 spots are phenomenal. There's a lot of small towns in NorCal that don't get rep because they're like dwarfed by SFO and Napa and those places, Sonoma.
Well, it's spillover. Those places get tourists because Napa.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, even my city is seeing a huge influx of tourists because they don't want to spend the money they would like in San Francisco. They don't want to like be waiting in line in wineries like they would in Napa, but they want good wine, which you can definitely still get good wine in my city and have like a smaller town feel of like friendly people welcoming you and stuff like that, which a lot of the wineries out here are like that. So yeah, I think that's a great point. It does the rest of the cities good when there's like a really big one near them, but they still need to get the love too. They need to get the love.
Well, one of our favorite things is when we were in when we were in Portland, Oregon. We stayed there for like a couple of nights, and then we stayed most of the time in Willamette. My wife, she's a celiac, but she loves wine. She can have it, obviously. So it makes it hard for me when we travel because we can't really hit the breweries like I would want. But downtown Willamette, you would probably like that a lot.
I've heard a lot of good things about Willamette too, and I just work's never brought me up there.
Something that's close to there, but also we could still go maybe like hiking in like someplace near the Columbia.
That's cool.
So it's something around like that would work, and Oregon is, I mean, the taxes are still very high. It's the West Coast, but at least the property values are potentially reasonable.
Yeah, we've looked at houses there too, and it is a lot cheaper than it is here. I mean, depending on where you live, Portland can be pretty expensive, but like Bend is
big city,
cheaper. But if you guys are ever
if you went to Willamette, or if you were anywhere near downtown Willamette, I think you'd be like, all right, I want to be able to just walk to here.
Yeah, I don't want to live here, but I want to be near here.
Yeah.
I want to see it. If you're ever in Denver and you want to hit up a brewery with your wife having celiacs, there's a brewery in Denver called Dos Luces, and it's all gluten-free.
That sounds awesome.
And they use old Aztec, Mayan, and Incan like beer recipes. So they use like different colored corns for like all their beer. It's more. I remember when I wrote up on them on Instagram. I told them I said it's more like beer tea. It's not as like concentrated in the palate as like a malty beer, with wheat, but it's still really good. They make pulque. They make all like the old, really cool stuff. And it's just like the small little, like really aesthetically pleasing layout in the brewery.
I'd like to go to Denver. I'd like to check out the aspects of Colorado. I mean, that would be on my list.
It's beautiful. I've been there 4 times now for work, and it's like one of my favorite places ever.
Yeah, Denver's nice. It's nice. It's typical big city. It's beautiful in and around Denver. Like you get outside of Denver proper, it's gorgeous. Denver has everything you would want in a big city. I have not actually been there as a beer guy. Like,
man.
I know. My wife has family there, and so, but this was last year. I haven't been since like 2012. We were there for a
Oh
wedding,
man.
and it was like I was into beer, but I wasn't like crazy. Like now, everywhere I go, I look for a brewery.
Mhm.
I wasn't quite at that point yet. It was kind of like, yeah, I had a few things just like out and about where we went. So we went out, went to Lodo and all that, but I wasn't like really checking for it. So now it's like a big deal now for me. It's like, man, if I can get back out there,
You gotta go. I mean,
everywhere.
some of my favorite breweries ever are in Denver. Like, I will give them all the praise.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, if you ever see beer, or you're in Denver and you see beer from Woods Boss, you get it. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if you don't like the style that you see that is available to you. Get it, because everything they make is absolutely incredible. And like the amount of time they put in, I've talked to the owner and the brewers a bunch of times, and the amount of time they put in with their stuff is, I want it. I mean, that's like the one brewery I crave all the time is Woods Boss.
Well, Johnny, we got to tell them the place that we talk about all the time. It's in Ed O's country, man.
Oh yeah, it's been coming up a lot lately too. I'm going to Parish Brewing.
Yeah.
Oh, Parish?
Yeah.
100%.
Oh my God, I don't care. And apparently Parish is in the middle of nowhere. I don't care.
I've never been. I've only had one beer by them, and it was Ghost in the Machine.
Yeah.
If you see this, just grab it.
Reve.
Yeah, it's a coffee beer. It won our coffee beer challenge last one that we did.
Oh,
it's amazing.
Dude. Okay.
And Ghost in the Machine is badass. We every year we do a top 5 beer. Usually in December or whatever, or maybe January. We'll do like our top 5 beers.
Like our last show of the year. Yeah.
And 2 of my top 5 were from Parish.
Oh yeah. I mean, like the first time I had it, I was in Florida. Actually, I was hanging out with Dan over at Eastie Brews down in Fort Lauderdale, and I was like, he was at the time working for Craft Beer Cellar, and so he was like, yeah, let's go and have some drinks. And so I went down there, and he was like, have you had Parish? And I was like, no, I don't think I've ever heard of them. And he freaked out. He was like, what? You never heard of Parish? Yeah. And he poured me Ghost in the Machine off tap.
So good.
Dude, I was like, that was the first time, or that was one of the few times I took a beer and like I had absolutely no words for it. I was like, this is incredible. I was like, and I don't really know if I've ever heard of this before. And then like as I committed it to memory, I started realizing like, oh, a lot of people know this is good. Like everyone posts about Ghost in the Machine.
Oh yeah.
I picked up a 4-pack of that, and I drank it out of the bottle. So I had my koozie around it, my zip-up koozie, and I found myself. I was watching hockey, and I was just drinking it, and I was like, man, like this, it was getting light fast. And I was like, what is this? I was like, I was like, good God, this is great. What the hell is this?
So good.
Oh yeah.
So good.
We've been pumping them for a little bit because we did an interview on Saturday and we talked about Parish then.
Yeah.
We were just because
Parish, if you're listening, please send us a care pack or something.
I will vouch for them, Parish. They are fantastic. They will rep you guys like no other. Send them beer, and then just like send me like a bottle of Ghost in the Machine, and I'll be happy.
Man,
we'll do just wherever we can, wherever you don't distribute down to the southeast, just send us, and we'll do beer reviews of it. We'll tell people, we'll brag about it. I mean, hell, we've looked at where they're located, thinking about making a trip there. It's just when I say it's in the middle of nowhere, it's like 8 hours from everywhere.
Well, and they're in Louisiana, right?
Yeah, but like they're like 5 hours from Houston, 5 hours from San Antonio, like 5 hours from Oklahoma City.
Yeah, y'all let me know how that goes when you go there.
yeah, that's gonna be tricky, but I'm thinking about it, dude. Because I've had so Reve's amazing, Ghost in the Machine's amazing. A lot of people know about Ghost in the Machine. I picked up this beer called Pure Tropics on Saturday, and I drank it on the air on Saturday. It's awesome. Like it's ridiculously good.
See, and that's how you know that, like, because you see a lot of breweries get hype, right? But like, if you've personally tasted multiple styles at a brewery and they kill it, that they're like, yo, okay, they deserve the hype. Like I think there's like a really like opposite ends of the spectrum where I think like hype train plays a factor behind, like I'll use like Pliny the Elder for an example. Great beer, like really great beer, but like, is it like worth going to wait in like some crazy long line for like hours to pick up 2 bottles? Like, no, I could grab that at like the liquor store here in town. Like, it's really good. On the other hand, I would probably wait in line to get me some Ghost in the Machine. Like that's a fact. That is
If
a
there was
fact.
like some kind of like special release, Ghost in the Machine, something like that, yeah, I would probably do that too.
If they did like a double or like a barrel age or something. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, you guys are
Parish,
waiting
if you're
in line
listening,
here.
Parish, please do this. Like we're
Yes.
giving you guys ideas right
Yeah.
now.
Like they keep coming up because, like, matter of fact, so I posted our show from Saturday on Facebook, and someone was like, they shouted out the there's like a place, a tap house on the St. Pete side that has it on tap on Clearwater actually.
Oh, okay.
And they shouted them out like, oh man, they're talking about you guys. You guys are awesome. You do Parish on tap. Like
the word
Parish
is
like
spreading.
a lightning rod right now.
We're gonna do it. I'm gonna give however you end up editing this and posting it, I'm just gonna tag Parish 1,000 times.
Yes.
Be
Yes.
like,
They need to know. I'm in love. Like,
you guys have 3 super loyal on opposite ends of the states where you can get some good distribution out here. Like literally just send me.
Right. We're like on the outsides and they're right in the middle of us.
I'm just saying, like,
right.
just send me all the beer that you want to have distributed, and I will become your personal salesman. And I will just sell the beer for you right now.
There you go.
I think Parish just needs to get a taste. They need to do the Portland deal. They need to get a tasting room that's actually closer to one of these places that we could get into, and then over there.
And it's funny too, because like a lot of breweries want to like stay close to home, and I totally get that. And like a lot of times their goal isn't to expand, and they just opened up because they wanted to be offered to the locals. But at some point, like you got to give the people what they want, and everybody wants them some Parish right now. Like everybody does.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like crack.
Honestly, if that's what crack is like,
I'd be in trouble.
Come on now.
I'll lose my job.
Come on now.
Oh my god.
No, damn good beer I could drink. I could probably drink the whole 4-pack of Ghost in the Machine in one night.
Oh, easily. I mean, I wouldn't tell my wife that. But
yeah.
100%.
And not only that, but man, you could pair a lot of food with Ghost in the Machine.
Dude, so that's funny you said that. So I'm working with the local guy here. I actually went to played against him in high school, and he now owns his own catering company, wine tasting tours up in Amador County, which is a really great area for wine. And he reached out to me. He's like, "Yo, let's do a beer and food pairing. So let's collaborate." And we're gonna do, because he knew I'm super into beer and I've read up on it a lot, and I was like, yeah. And we just talked. Our first conversation about it for like the first couple of courses was yesterday. So I'm really excited to work with him and launch that. I'll definitely be shouting it out on Instagram and stuff too, but it'll be cool.
We'll share
the stuff he cooks. Yeah, the stuff he cooks looks phenomenal, and he gets like really high quality stuff. And today
What's his influence? Is it more like based on barbecue, or is it like French, or?
He doesn't. I wouldn't say he has like a French influence. I would say more he's like homegrown. Like he wants to know where it's coming from, and he wants to prepare it the way it's supposed to be prepared.
So farm to table, which is classic California.
Which totally fits the bill out here. And he has like experimented with a lot of stuff. He said he's had some chorizo aging for a while, which he wants to kind of like incorporate.
Okay.
Yeah, so he does like cured stuff. We were actually literally earlier today talking about cheeses and what cheeses. I was like, yo, I think we should. He was talking about cheeses, and I was like, man, I think like if you want to go like that classic like creamy route, like we were talking about like different French cheeses, I was like, you got to pair that with like a saison. I think that would be phenomenal.
Farmhouse with maybe like some brie and some really fatty meats.
We're gonna try to use local breweries from around here to like hype them up and support them. And so I'll be putting the word out locally and just asking people's opinion, like, hey, in your guys' opinion, which brewery around here do you think has the best saison? And I'm just gonna ask them to shout them out, and I'm gonna reach out to them and let them know what we're doing. And I'm really excited. I'm really pumped.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
You can get like over here in it's in Pinellas, but it's in the Tampa Bay area. There's a place that does tons of saisons called Green Bench, and so they'll even do like red wine barrel saisons.
Yeah, I love
probably go really well with what you're talking about.
It's one of my favorites. I usually gravitate towards like Belgians, farmhouses, and saisons if I see them.
Oh man, he'd love Bob, man.
Oh yeah, you should went to Saint Somewhere. If you ever get to our area, you should go to Saint Somewhere. He's Bob Sylvester. He's retired now, but he's like the standard in this in terms of saisons. Like
you might be able to find that like online. You might be able to find like some bottles of his.
Probably
Saint somewhere. All he does is Belgian style farmhouse. He has people come. He used to have people come from Belgium to train underneath.
Yeah.
Sold.
So yeah. I'll send you the link, Jordan.
Cool.
Yeah. If you like Belgium, you gotta try it. He's literally nationwide.
Probably some of the funkiest saisons I've ever been around.
See, but there's a time and a place for that, and in my opinion, like I love beer that I. It's funny. I like beer that I don't want to like slam down. Like I want beer that I want to like sip and enjoy.
Yeah.
Like I love me a good crushable IPA and pale ale as much as the next guy, but I want like a funky beer that I want to like sip, and every time I'm like, oh man, this is like really good.
Well, this beer is got some personality. I mean,
good,
and that's probably putting it mildly. I think of like the Real World and Chappelle Show, like that level of personality.
That's like a combination of those two. That's impressive. That's intense. Actually,
it's powerful.
That's intense.
Beer, so.
But like you can't look away, and you have to drink it, and you're about halfway through, and you're like, I honestly can't tell if I like it or not, but I'm gonna keep on drinking it.
You're like, dang it, I'm rooting for this thing. I really
I mean, it's just, I don't know, Johnny. What do you think? I mean, I think potent is the only way to describe some of the
it's potent's a good word. It's super. All this stuff is super funky. Like take your typical funky beer and kind of up it a notch, and that's kind of like his basic stuff's like super funky.
That's my house. That's I want to live there.
Yeah, he's very he's very like it's his beer is kind of like sort of like a lightning rod itself. Like if you don't like that style, you will hate his beer. But if you love that style,
you're gonna love that.
Literally, it's the standard. Like the standard beer for all those types. Like Green Bench is good, but Saint Somewhere is like the standard.
Oh yeah, you can't even compare them. Yeah, no, Green Bench is definitely more trying to sell to the masses,
right?
And it's more like
it's a bigger brewery. Yeah,
we use this wine barrel to get this type of backdrop on the flavor, but it's and you'll smell it and you'd be like, oh yeah, I can smell there's some funk here. I can tell what you guys did a little bit, on yeast or maybe cultivating some yeast on this. Bob's could be cracked at the table next to you. They literally, the next table could open a bottle of Bob's beer. You might smell it.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna have to find Bob.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Well, I think he's physically in the mountains right now up in Appalachia.
Well, I'm not gonna go find him.
Yeah,
I will find some beer.
Yeah. But his brewery is open. And
yeah, we'll have to see if we can find you some bottles of Saint somewhere. Maybe it's like who's like down here we'd have like Total Wine and ABC. Who's a big store out there?
We have Total Wine out here, and we have Bevmo too. Bevmo would be like,
I've heard
like
Bevmo.
Y'all have Benny's out there?
Nah.
No, it'd be like a Benny's. Trying to think. Yeah, there's. I know this too because this is like part of my job. There's not a whole lot of like similar chains to Bevmo. I would say Total Wine would be the next similar thing to Bevmo. Total Wine has 100 times more product than Bevmo.
If I can use that zip code and I can maybe find something that they may have in stock there. Because I would think any of his bottles would probably make you happy.
Yeah,
I would love to know where I can find it. It sounds like it's pretty incredible.
We should do a trade. Like we should send you some stuff.
That's totally. If I can get my hands on it, I'll just send it to you.
I'll send you guys some local beers. There's a couple out of San Francisco that I am obsessed with right now that I would try to get.
That would be awesome.
I'm guessing it's not Anchorstein.
It's not. Although it was cool. They reached out to me. I got to be one of the accounts to unveil their new can for the year. They just put their
they redesigned the can.
They never had a can. They never had a 12-ounce can before.
That's right. They've always been bottles.
The anchor.
Yeah. So they sent me a care package and wanted me to hype it up on the day they released it, which was really cool. So that was really awesome. But it's not Anchorstein. While I love their beer, it's Laughing Monk dude, they're crazy good. Hen House is fantastic. Hen House does amazing IPAs. Fog Belt's another really good one. They're closer to Oakland. There's so many up there. I mean, like the Rare Barrel's delicious.
First time I had Racer 5, I was eating Vietnamese food and salsa.
Racer 5, a little Track 7.
Yeah.
There, Track 7. There's a tap room in Sacramento, I want to say too. Yeah, I think there's a tap room in Sacramento. But they're really good too. There's a ton out here that I would have no shortage of. I mean, and I'm really close to not really close, but like to Moonraker, Moxa. Those are like the really big, like NorCal, like everyone's looking for like Moxa Stouts and like Moonraker IPAs. Slice is up and coming because I guess one of the brewers from Moonraker left and went to Slice, so that now they're making like crazy good beer. And then one of my favorite sack places is Rust Dollar. They make really crazy good like coffee porters and like black IPAs and like really unique beer, and they do it really well. So shout out to all those folks.
Well, we'll definitely have to like we'll have to coordinate offline to figure out what we can bring, what we can send to you, what you can send.
Is there like there's got to be like a service for that, because what you would need is to prove that both sides are of age and then pay whatever the fee is, and I'm sure they would be able, because think about it, other side of the country, but you want to trade.
The way I've had it done where I've done beers, when they send it to me, I just have to sign for it.
Right.
So like that's the proof. Like you just.
But I'm thinking like if you were going to be consistently trading with somebody, it seems like you'd be able to get like a almost kind of like the pre-flight check-in.
Right. Like, oh, it's so and so sending beer.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I think if it's done often enough, there might be something you can do. Huh. We'll have to.
I'll have to take a look at that.
I have to figure that out. It can't be hard because people do it. Like it's crazy. Like
all the time, especially right now.
Especially right now, more so than ever. So, but yeah. Well, hey, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm actually gotta run. I actually haven't dinner yet, so I'm like starving right now.
Dude. Oh my gosh. I'm starving, and it's like 3 hours earlier for me.
No, I'm a little hungry. I don't usually eat this late, so but it's all good though. This is awesome conversation.
Yeah.
And Jordan, thank you so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Throwing some Wildcat love at you, buddy. Good.
Hey,
good stuff.
Go Cats, bleed purple. And yeah, always a pleasure, y'all. I love coming on. Hope you guys are staying healthy out there. We'll get this trade going, and eventually I'll come out there. We can grab some beers.
Absolutely.
Johnny's got your personal contact, I'm guessing. So he and I will basically look to see what we can put together. And if anything we find, we'll have him share direct with you.
Yeah, just let me know.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right, man. All right, guys. I'll talk to y'all soon. But
see ya.
Let's see. Hold on. Stop.